But overall, you know, I believe he got a, you know, I believe he's a decent character, man, somewhat, when he wants to be. I ain't got no hatred for him. You know, when he's debating, you know, hey, he seems very confident on what he's saying. He has a following. But even then, you know, scriptures say knowledge puffeth up. So let's listen to some of this real quick.
I do appreciate the call. Listen, don't forget. Look
now,
up
he's on the phone.
Listen, that
shit. He's on the phone with the Italian Jake. To me, I think the dude is a Jake. I could be wrong. But that's just what I says through the spirit. And I'm not going to doubt my judgment, you know, because, you know, I'm just not going to doubt what the spirit put on my heart or my mind to say in that regard regarding this. Now, like I said, granted, the dude could be full of shit. He could be a Jake, but just be on some folly and trying to make money. He could be, but I don't get that from him. Okay?
grafted in, go look up Genesis. I am going to make a clip out of that. Say it one more time for me. Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
No, Cap, you doing
Nah, say it for me one more time, please. Please, please. Just say it one more time. Just please.
Yo, Cap, I'm gonna do it for you, just for you. But God forgive me. Genesis, man. Yo, Cap, at the least, we leave here with a little fun. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. I appreciate it. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Cap? My name's Footer. I'm down in Florida right now, but I'm a New York dude.
Okay. All right, man, bro, you can't tell me that that's not no Jake, man. You know, you may think he could be a white boy, but even then, when you just listening to him, he sound like a nigga. You know, like it's just the spirit. You know, Jake got a certain aesthetic about him, man. You just kind of know a Jake when you talking to one, like, yeah, that's a Jake, bro. At least in my opinion, you know.
No sweat. You got a question or comment?
Yeah, I got two quick questions for you, man. My whole thing is, let's start as far as on the one end. As far as being saved, right? So I'm a Christian, right? And the way I understand when I've seen you debate and I've seen you talk, and I got a lot of respect for you guys, for real. And I almost feel if I went by your ideology that, you know, I'm not going to be saved. I'm going to be walking around.
Yeah, he told me, he said, I got a lot of respect for you, man. And he said, if I went by your ideology, I'm not going to be saved. And he was gearing on the fact that a so-called white boy, because I don't think that this man is really spiritual enough to know that Israelites can look like all nations. But the fact about it is that he didn't really disagree with Tazariak in that regard as far as the doctrine. I mean, you know, he was like, he wanted to just be accepted, at least from what I got. What the fuck is this dude gonna do, man? What are you fucking druggy? That's why you people gotta fucking be destroyed. You know, but anyway, he was looking like, well, from your standpoint, your doctrine, it just seems like you shut me out. And that's the thing, we don't judge based on skin color, bro. And that's one misconstrue about the Hebrew Israelites, which a lot of the camps do judge based on skin color, but we don't judge based on skin color. Scriptures say judge righteous judgment, you know? So it ain't solely about what you look like, even though the Israelites will look like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, of course, but they're gonna look like other nations too.
My entire life.
What's your ethnicity?
And never. I'm a Christian. I'm Italian. I'm Italian.
Okay, I'm glad you did that first. You're the first white man I've ever spoke to when I asked what's your ethnicity, and the first thing you said.
See, and the fact that he say he's a Christian, it was spiritual, nigga. You call him a white man. You don't know if he's a fucking white man or not, bro. He said he a Christian. That was spiritual, bro, because Israelites are the Christians, man. This dude ain't got the spirit, man. Okay? Matter of fact, let me get this. Spiritual, man. And it's like I'm on the road, brothers, man, but I really had to get this lesson in, so that's my bad. Yep, but this is the book of 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. And it reads, it says, which things we also speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, okay? But it says, but with the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So it's all spiritual at the end of the day. My man said that he's a Christian, Then he say he's Italian, but nationality-wise, Christians are Israelites. So through the Spirit, the guy's a Jake, man. And it says, by the natural man receiving not the things of the Spirit. And Cesariak, you're a natural man. Why? Because you under that brute beast Yahanawah. Because Yahanawah is a natural man. And the UPK is not spiritual at all. They're a men of carnality. They're carnal men, to say the least. And it reads, it says, but the natural man receiving not the things of the Spirit of the Most High. It says, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So that's why he gonna say what he's gonna say. He said, as a white man. You don't know if this guy's a white man. Okay, he got the aesthetic of a Jake. He got the spirit of a Jake on him. Just listening to him, like, yeah, that's a Jake, man. But these guys are not spiritual. They're carnal as hell. This is the reason why the Most High is gonna break that fucking school up, bro, because you're literally shutting up the kingdom of heaven to men. You know, granted, if he was righteous, you know, he probably would have came through GMS. But nonetheless, man, you know, a lot of brothers come through different camps to get the basic understanding before they graduate to, you know, Great Millstone. And then some of us had the fortunate to go straight through GMS, man, because the Lord knew how simple our ass could be, you know. So anyway, Salakia.
He was Christian, but you say you're an Italian white man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming your father's Italian.
One injection awakened my power as an unstoppable beast tamer.
No clarity, just called him an Italian white man. What if the dude was Sicilian?
The others mocked my bond, but soon my beast pets and I will rise from their laughter. The dangerous serum gave me more than...
Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know, in Jeremiah, I think Jeremiah 16 and 19, it says, your fathers inherited lives.
Right, now, I mean, as just as a human being, right? I mean, like, from what you're saying, I'm walking through life, I mean, without a net. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying. You listen, and this and when I talk to you, I hope you're not offensive, right? Because I kind of talk as a free man.
Not at all.
Thank you, perfectly.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Not even a little bit, Captain. No, you can say to me, bro.
Gotcha.
So, and that show you right there, because he's not even really, you know, he's probably offended, but he's just like, look, man, he's just like, he's showing you the utmost respect, bro. And you go say, well, I don't know what to tell you based on his being Italian. Do you know, bro, read the book, Nature Knows No Color Line, man. Like, if you Israelites claim to believe that the seed is through your fathers, then what's so hard about believing that this guy can very well be a Hebrew Israelite? You know? And we're not saying all Italians are Israelites, but a great deal of them are.
So white men like you trip me out because you want to go right to human being. We're not human beings. If we was human beings, you and your ancestors would have actually had that understanding and treated us better. You also said you don't have a net. It's called Italy. It's called, that's your net. Your net, like y'all are about to celebrate Thanksgiving when your ancestors slaughtered another race of people to establish a country for you in the name of your Christianity. You have your life. You have your wealth. You have, I remember, Chris, you know how good it is for you guys to be white, that y'all would never replace your life with a black man's life. So when you say you don't have a net, that's just a lie. What it sounds like is you want to secure a net in the kingdom to come too. That's what it sounds like.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, in
what I would do, let me tell you something. If I was white,
all right, I'll wait.
I'll land right here. If I was white, I'd be living as good as I can as a white man. Just like as a black man, I'm trying to live as good as I can as a black man under the Israelites' rules. So if I were you, I would stop reading the Bible because it ain't for you. I would get into that Constitution and start reliving manifest destiny. You have the floor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, I'll let you land.
That's my setup. Yeah, I'm going to give you the time.
I appreciate it.
Pause.
All right,
Pause.
Look, so basically, what I'm hearing, and maybe I'm not taking it in, is that for me in this life right now, I can live godly. I can roll around. I can do what I need to do because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when it's all done, I'm done. Nothing happens. My soul does not go. I'm not going to be next to you. I'm not going to be in heaven.
You know, it really fucking, you know, it's really painful because the fact that you like, this is a white light. I guess the spiritual elevators don't go up to the top floor of these dudes, man. As much knowledge as you got about as much spirituality as a fucking doorknob, man. That's why the Most High is going to destroy a lot of you Israelites out there that claim to be top leaders and top teachers and top camp members. The Lord's going to destroy a lot of you niggas, man, because you clearly are not using spiritual discernment to know if this man is an Israelite or not. You shut him down based on what he said his ethnicity was, Italian. Okay, did you do any research, man? Did you ask him and say, okay, are you Northern Italian? Are you Sicilian? What are you? Did you go into the background? Like the scriptures say, be not ignorant of anything small or great. I guarantee you the dude he talking to got his great-grandfather's probably a so-called black man. But these niggas will still shoot him in the foot because of what he looked like, man. And you may say, well, see, GMS, y'all deal with white women. So fuck, but they ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't the reason why I'm vouching for the guy. It's the spirit, man. Hell, you got a lot of niggas out here that ain't even Israelites. That may be Edomites, man. Now what, you gonna accept them because of what they look like, or are you gonna go off the spirit?
So, don't you think that you're pushing a narrative for me to go out and just do what I need to do whatever I need to do? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. See, the way I look at things, is that Christ died for our sins, right? And if I believe what you believe, okay, I can walk around godly. And let's be real, Cap. Like no man walking around godly is ever gonna be
Excuse me, how many languages do you speak?
Okay.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI, BaHashem, Wakwakwidash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim, Wakwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. Shalom to the speckled bird, which is actually appropriate to say right now. Shalom to the speckled bird that may look like the other nations but are actually Yasharallah. Basically today's lesson is going to be on speckled birds. Now I know I played a lot and I really want to actually let you hear a lot of what the brother was saying, because I'm probably not gonna be repeating a lot of it, but I did want to kind of show you both Captain Zariak's thing as well as some of what the brother was saying, because it's definitely very fitting. And the reason why it's fitting is because the stuff here is the Jake that was on the line, as the brother had said, he was humbling himself down, but he also kind of had a bit of the tendencies of like, how do you say like meekness. All right, let me actually get that. And just because someone's meek, it doesn't mean that they are an Israelite. I'm just saying that he was basically kind of like trying to display one of the attributes of someone of the elect. So that's the best thing to say, of the elect. And I also believe that he might have been an Israelite as well. Maybe he wasn't the elect, maybe not, I don't know, but I do believe that he is definitely an Israelite, because the thing about I want to say getting into this truth, or a few years after I got into this truth, that was kind of something that I kind of wrestled with myself, where I would when I would watch HOI and WFI primarily, and then Sakari, and then eventually GMS. What happened? Well, not GMS at the time, but basically what I would watch was HOI and Slocky. I would watch HOI, and then I would watch WFI primarily. I think those were the two main ones that I'd watch at the time. And what happened was, it's just like, okay, well, whenever you saw a so-called white man, okay, well, let's cut them with the scriptures. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's whatever. And it was always about appearance. But let me get this. John 7 verse 27, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So we're not supposed to be, and I forgot what I was supposed to get, but we're not supposed to be looking at people by their skin colors or their supposed visual ethnicity. Okay, we're supposed to be looking at people based off of their spirit. All right, I was talking about what was his name? The dude. Oh yeah, the meek. Let me get this. Matthew chapter 5 verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And as the brother had said, he was saying, I'm, Captain Zarek, I'm not trying to be rude, disrespectful, anything like that. You just do this, that's and third. Like, I have so much respect for you, the thing that you're doing, and like, bro, how can you just be so dismissive about someone? That's how can you be so dismissive about someone after we are known for being the most disliked people? All right, we are known for being, hated and stuff like that. It's like, at least like give him the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, I believe that. Well, no, I won't say I believe because I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't know. I don't know if Captain Tazariak actually thinks about the whole paternal side of things. Like, are you an Israelite based off your father's side? And now I'm curious to know, would he say that Blake Griffin is an Israelite, or would he say Blake Griffin's son is an Israelite, or are they Edomites to him because their skin is dark? But the funny thing about that is people will say that Blake Griffin is a people in the world, will say that Blake Griffin is an Israelite, or not Israelite, a so-called black man, but I don't know about what they would say about his son. So that's basically the thing. People are looking at things from face value. You see both the parents, and then you would say, okay, well, the Blake Griffin's dad is a so-called black person, Blake Griffin's mom is a so-called white woman. So then, that's just a half mixed person. Okay, so yeah, sure, you have that, and then what do you get next? Like, what about Blake Griffin's literal actual son? Okay, let me actually show you Blake Griffin over here. Like, is this? He literally has blonde hair. It does not get any more Edomite than that. Like, they genuinely look like Edomites. So as a result of that, are we going to say that because Blake Griffin looks like a so-called white man and his wife is maybe a literal white woman, all right, a so-called white woman, then okay, well then his kid is so-called white? Like, do people actually process this? And that reason why I'm bringing this up, I keep on going back to him, is because this is the exact same thing that you have to think about. This is the exact same thing that you have to think about when it comes to other people. Are these other people, all right? What if they are Chinese? What if they're so-called Indian? What if they're so-called Arabian? All these other different possibilities where the father started out looking like this, then his kid comes out looking like, let's just say that he's Chinese. This is a Chinese woman, and he looks Chinese. Like, he looks like Chinese, and then the Blake Griffin, the Chinese version of Blake Griffin, all right, has a kid with the so-called Chinese woman, and then their kid comes out looking even more Chinese than him. Then what? Okay, so that's now a Chinese kid? No, that's not how things work. Okay, let me actually get that so we can prove that. Numbers chapter 1 verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. Basically, your pedigree is determined based off the house of your father. If your father is a so-called black man, then that means that you are a so-called black man, regardless of whatever you look like. If you look like a so-called Chinese, so-called Edomite, so-called Indian, so-called Arabian, all right, so-called Russian, whatever, all right, you are an Israelite. It does not matter what you look like. And that's the thing that apparently a lot of people are getting mixed up on, where they can't let go of this whole appearance thing, where appearance is the only thing that matters when it comes to everything, where it's like, okay, well, I only care about doing this, I only care about whatever, rather than I only care about loving my skin color, basically, rather than what is actually like genuinely a thing. Like, and that's the thing. Oh yeah, I remember this, Slocky. This is a story about me. From what I experienced, what happened was there was this one Chinese looking girl, all right, that I had met on a social media site. I was talking to her, and she was basically like talking all this thing, saying like, oh, she believes in the Israelites, this, that, and the third. She watches the Israelites and whatnot. And then basically she said that she knows that she's not an Israelite, she's going to be a slave and all this stuff like that. But she was acting and talking like a Jake. So that was, I was over here trying to tell her, you are not Chinese just because you look Chinese, and she looked like a full-on Chinese woman, okay? I was telling her, hey, you're not Chinese, stop it. You are an Israelite. You can't be doing all this stuff. You need to repent and try and attempt to keep the commandments. And she was like saying, no, not this, no, blah, 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 or whatever, basically bugging the fuck out because I was telling her, you are an Israelite. That's the crazy thing about it. But she was so stuck on the freaking black only doctrine that she couldn't comprehend that. I don't even know if she just loved black men or not, or something like that. I don't know if that was the case, but the fact of the matter was she was being so dumb, so stupid, so bugged out that she couldn't comprehend when I was trying to tell her that, look, if your father, okay, has ancestry on his father's on your father's side / his father's side, all right, that goes back down to a so-called black man, then that means that you aren't an Israelite. You're genuinely an Israelite. And she just could, even when I was trying to explain to her in the simplest of terms, she just could not get it. And that's a sad thing about it. You know, I really don't even know what happened to her. I don't know what happened to her. It was just, what's the word? It was it was kind of a shame. It was kind of a shame that, you know, someone that acknowledge that, okay, you know what, I'm an Israelite, but Israelites, all the so-called black people, is just so bugged out and so hyper fixated on one doctrine rather than what is, like, how can you, I don't know, because even then, when it comes to Chinese women in general, and she was Chinese, I'm not saying that like generally, I don't mean like she might have been Japanese or Korean, she was actually Chinese. I actually asked her, and she basically is like very dismissive about the possibility of herself being an Israelite. And it I don't know, it just comes from some form of self-hate or something like that. I don't know, but the main thing that I'm trying to get at is that we're not Israelites based off our skin color. You're not brown skin, because by that logic, are Hamites also Israelites? I would hope that you would say no. All right, because we're not the same people. They sold us into slavery. All right, definitely, it was definitely a conscious decision, and yet, okay, well, their dark skin makes them Israelites. Like, what are we talking about? All right. And I told her that too. I literally asked her, I brought that up to her, and she acknowledged it, but she still bugged the fuck out. Like, I will never get over that shit because I was not patient. Number one, I was not patient, and number two, I know that she was not going to listen to reason. Like, that was just it. Like, someone put a heavy demon on her to believe in that Negro only, dark skin only doctrine bullshit. Like, yeah, she was definitely a lost cause, and I don't know what is going to happen to her. But I tried. I did honestly try. It's not, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not my place or whatever, but that's just the Lord. Anyway, continuing on. Where is it? Blessed. Oh no, Slocky. And I also want to point that out as well. With this guy, this so-called Italian guy being humble and whatnot, she was also humble as well. She was so fixated when I was speaking with her. She was so fixated on saying, I'm just a lowly Chinese woman, I'm just a lowly this, I'm a lowly that. And then she said, look at these beautiful black kids, in reference to a picture of a bunch of black kids. Like, she's like, this is beautiful, these are true kids. And all these other people, like Chinese, basically, because she believed that she was Chinese, she was talking to her about herself as well, or what she thought was herself, saying that, oh, I'm just a lonely Chinese people, this, that, and third, Down syndrome, X, Y, Z, blah, blah. Basically saying all these self-deprecating things. Well, technically, not really self-deprecating, because she is not. I don't believe she was so-called Chinese or Moab. I believe she was an Israelite, but she was just trying. She was definitely conscious. In her mind, she was self-deprecating. But anyway, continuing on. But this was the thing where these people are coming in the spirit of meekness, coming in the spirit of humbleness. And I'm not going to lie, I can only imagine how many diaspora Israelites know of the Israelites, but they don't actually practice. And that's crazy though. Slocky, that's crazy. I'm over here thinking or coming to the realization that a lot of these Israelites are not coming to the truth because they can't fathom that they are Israelites. All right, that's why it's so important for there to be people that says, or brothers that are teaching that the diaspora, all right, the speckled bird, are actual Israelites as well. You can look like an Edomite, you can look at the other nations and still be an Israelite. That's the thing. Okay, but again, I'm not saying that Gentiles can be saved as well. I have to say that. I know it sounds weird, but I have to say that because I don't want to accidentally let people think that, if you are so-called a white person, you can be saved. No, if you look like a so-called white person, there's a key difference to that. Okay, if you look like a so-called white person, a so-called Chinese, so-called Indian, so-called Middle Eastern, and you say, okay, I believe this, all right, I genuinely believe that so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the people of YAHAWAH. Okay, if you attempt to follow it, and that's the thing, nobody is stopping you, or nobody can stop you from attempting to keep the laws to the best of your ability. Okay, no one can stop you from doing that. All right, if you do that, it just goes back down into faith. Okay, do you have faith that the Lord is actually dealing with you? All right, that's basically it. Like, are you? And honestly, in some ways, I think that's even harder. All right, in some ways, I think if you live that way, you might have a harder time. You might need even more faith to just believe that you are an Israelite. And you know what is even funnier is there can be someone that looks like a Israelite, looks like a so-called black man. All right, they could look like fucking Wesley Snipes or whatever, and lo and behold, they are actually an Edomite. You know, that's literally how the Lord operates. That's how things work. Because their grandfather, as a matter of fact, let's get this. Here is a perfect example of that. Everyone knows who she is. You think, oh, beautiful black queen, this, that, and the third. Look at this. Look at this. It doesn't get anything like her father. This is her father. This is the exact same thing that's going on. I'm able to do this quick Google search, all right? But what about someone else, all right? Where you thought you were a so-called black person this whole time, but in actuality you were an Edomite, all right? It works both ways. So you need to stop worrying about what you can see, because that's not. Let me actually get that. Let's get that. Faith. Hebrews chapter. I don't remember. Fuck. Oh, not seen, not unseen. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is dependent on things that you can't see. You can't see your patrilineal lineage, all right? But you can. What you can do is you can attempt to do things right. But yet you have, and Slocky, that was another thing. I wish I had it on fucking immediate. It was from Orlando. Basically, there was an Orlando video, but a GMS video from Orlando, where there are two Edomite chicks and this one Edomite dude that were talking to the brothers and stuff like that. They were basically trying to explain to her that I forgot what they were explaining about, but basically the Edomite chick was basically trying to say it doesn't matter about your ethnicity, but they were saying, and by the way, I really want to point this out, that they were literally saying maybe. They didn't say definitively that, you know, you are a heathen. I think they were literally saying stuff like if you are, if this, if that, because they were saying that, you know, Edomites, you know, they can't be saved, and they did say that if you are this and stuff like that. And I think that when even when you speak like that, which I'm not blaming them or anything like that, I think oftentimes what happens is you have people, and I think this is primarily just for Edomite looking people, and be that actual Edomites and actual Israelites that look like that look like Edomites, but I think that the main thing is that's how they hear Edomites bad, and they say, oh well, my skin color is Edomite, or my ethnicity, whatever my features are Edomite, so I'm a bad person, without actually understanding that it's not about what you look like. And that's the thing in this society. People are too hyper focused on the carnal aspect of things rather than the spiritual side of things. So that's why people are easily offended and easily discouraged when it comes to it. And hell, I think that might be something to think about. All right. Next, let's get this. Matthew chapter 8, let's start verse 8. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go. And I say to this man, go, and he goeth. And to another, come, and he cometh. And to my servant, do this, and he doeth. It basically, this was a centurion, all right? And a lot of time people think that centurions are only the Romans. I think there was the Romans, all right? And then that they were not Israelites, all right? But that's the thing when it comes to it. Israelites did serve in the army. That's number one. And it also goes into belief. Okay, belief as in like still going on to and submitting onto Yahawashi in this example. Verse 10, when Yahawashi heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Okay, basically the thing about this is how Israel is the primary, what's the word, source, I guess, of faith. The thing about this is when it comes to great faith, he's talking about Gentile, quote unquote Gentile. Now, with that being said, okay, I also want to break it down even further, where said Gentile is still an Israelite. All right, it is in reference to stranger, the stranger, the diaspora, the speckled bird. These are the Gentiles that have that great faith and that believe. All right, so this is an example of an Israelite that looks like another nation. Well, I don't know if he looked like another nation. I will just say he's an Israelite. All right, but the lesson here is that even if you look at yourself in the mirror and you see an Edomite, you see an Moabite, you will see a Amalekite, whatever. All right. No matter what you look like, it does not matter, because your ethnicity is not determined by your appearance. It is determined by your father's bloodline. Okay. If your father is a so-called Israelite, that is what you are. Okay. You are not no half-breed. You are not no mixed. You are not no white and black kid. You are not a Chinese and black, Indian and black, whatever. All right. Even Kamala Harris, I think I think her mom is Indian. Let's just take a quick look. Kamala Harris, father and mother, ethnicity. I don't even think she's black. I think her father is so-called you know what, and then never mind, I was wrong. Okay, so her father is Afro-Jamaican, and then her mother is Indian. So yeah, basically you see that where I just want to take one quick look. Donald J. Harris, because I heard something that he was actually. Did I just... Hold on. Is this guy... Who? Wait a second. Wait a minute. Did I just find out that he is a... Is he an Edomite? Wait, okay. Ethnicity. Wait. What? Okay, hold on. Oscar's parents. Oscar is Kamala Harris's grandfather. Okay, on her father's side. Now, Joseph Alexander Harris and Christiana Brown. Christiana, who went by Chrissy, was reportedly the descendant. Let me see. Joseph. I want to see Joseph right quick. Joseph. I hate when this happens. So her mom is... Alright, so her mother, okay, descendant of Hamilton Brown, a plantation and slave owner and founder of Brownstown, Jamaica. Okay, so let me go here. Bro, I hate when this shit happens. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really find this. All we have is this, but I'm not gonna just say, oh, he looks like an Edomite, so he's an Edomite. No, that's fucking stupid, and it literally defeats the purpose of what I was literally just talking about. So basically, there's a suspicion, Slovakia. I'll say there's suspicion of her grandfather being an Edomite, but apparently it looks like her father is an Israelite, but we don't know. Okay, there's no information on him, but there's information on her grandmother, his wife. So yeah, it was just something I wanted to get out. I pray this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Yahawashi, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH, the honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone of Bible and Shalom.